searching the what, sorry?
Searching for the last hippie.
Hippie?
Yeah.
Hippie.
Hippie.
Happy.
Hippie.
Hippies, they're like dropouts.
Dropouts. What does
Dropouts.
that mean?
It means they don't conform to the normal ways of life as we would see it.
Last hippie is something different thing. You know what's going on? The dresses are so many types of dresses. Some wear some shorts, some wear some broad shorts.
The last hippies always have tongs and are playing the bat on the beach.
So why do they do that?
I don't know. It's maybe a carryover from what they did in the 1960s.
Yeah, probably somewhere. Yeah, sitting with long beer, having a big joint, and thinking about the 60s, 70s.
They came here in the 60s and the 70s, and they're still here.
Bit on the other side of the river.
Yeah, back
On the north side of the river at Bagger, you get hippies.
We've heard today that there are still hippies, but they are north of the river.
North the river.
Yes. Where is it called?
Armbo. You recognize them when you see them.
Peace, man.
You know, I think it's to do with an ancient culture and maybe the energy that stays in the place. There is something in the earth, and we believe that. For me, I guess a hippie would be someone who renounces well, I can't even call it the real world, because which is real, who knows what, you know, and it's just a separate reality. They live in a different reality. I mean, for them, the sun and the moon mean completely different things.
Well, if you're lucky enough to have a scooter, you can drive around and listen and sort of follow scooters towards the direction of the music. It's always fun to hear the music and go in the direction of it and find a good party, especially in the middle of the forest.
A party?
Yes, on the beach.
Where?
On the beach.
And where on the beach?
Yes.
Where?
You follow the people and the yes. And simple. Yes.
I live in San Francisco for the last 8 years. And my first place I live is Hayden, Ashbury, so I see quite a lot of a new generation of hippies, of flower children. What I see is the melting pot of the West and the East. When I went to a party, I felt there's a lot of energy, but it's very diversified. It's like out everywhere. So the connection is not quite as close as like a tribal. You will see maybe a little group, and they all share the chillon or trips together.
I don't like the music
It's a
because
music. You don't like
yeah, it is da 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 the whole night. The same music. There's no sense in the music.
beats per minute. It's crazy. How can you dance to that extent?
See, we have seen that modern youth, normally they like very loud music. See, we used to call in our younger days, music had to be, sort of soothing. That time there were blowing instruments, now all string instruments mostly, and then it is very, very loud.
See, if they don't like the music, the tourists don't come to Goa, they don't come to Anjuna. If the tourists don't come to Anjuna, there's no absolute business.
No business.
Yeah. So they have to tolerate. Tolerance. As I told you, Goan are tolerant. They tolerate things.
See, I don't know much of the hippie culture, but there are two types of foreigners that have been coming to Goa. One are the decent, the tourists, like you, the decent ones,
All right.
and the junky ones. The junky ones. And they have been coming right from the 60s onwards, they have been there. They have been branded as the flower children, right? Yeah? But what had happened was, even when they were coming, they never used to identify with the local people. They had a culture of their own. Even when they were coming in the 60s, they would hold these parties called the full moon parties. Full moon parties. They would put a funnel or a speaker somewhere, face the sea, and the parties were between themselves.
So we want people to come to enjoy, provided they don't have wrong concepts of enjoyment. I am coming quite heavily on, these drugs. Other things we don't mind.
Sometime down, not reply. Snooze, sound finish. Reply 10 state. State. Sound big, right? Sound big. Hello. This flea market here was started by a bunch of hippies 15 years ago, and it was basically a place where hippies came to trade things that they had, like extra clothes or a camera or stuff they needed a little money or trade for something else. So this is how the flea market originally started. And then over the years, Indian gypsies from different parts of India started coming and bringing things and joined the flea market to sell. And at first it was kind of illegal. And then I guess the government realized it was a good tourist attraction, and so it's built up into this great big huge thing over the years. What is a typical hippie? A person who believes in peace, love, and freedom. If you believe in peace, love, and freedom, and want to live outside what is the normal system of run by the governments, then you can be a hippie. Oh, well, there's a few leftovers, but they've, changed their style a bit, and they look more new millennium in their dress and stuff, but there's still, a lot of the old hippies have just grown old. So you won't recognize them possibly because now they're in their 40s and 50s, like that.
I left the United States because, very easy, I had to work. I didn't want to work. I grew up very rich family, and my father died of Parkinson's disease when I was 16. And until then, nobody told me anything about money or work. And I just left. I said, I'm leaving forever. There was a hippie movement I knew traveling all over Europe. And I heard about freaks in India. But, you know, it was just something you hear, a word here or there. And then one day, I just saw a sign that a bus was leaving from Athens to Goa, India. I never heard of Goa, But it was going from Greece to India. We went through Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, which is now gone, Pakistan, and India, and Goa.
Was to get up. Some guys, they were going like, they had $200, let's go. You were just going, you know. We were like attracted, you know. Idealism was strong in those days, very strong. Most people who were coming here, they like the difference, to make a break, you know, to change, to have a chance, take a chance, like say, the old song of Cat Stevens, you know. Take a chance, have a change, you know. They were searching the difference. For me, it was like I was to search of beauty, maybe. I was not very political. For me, the hippies were beautiful. Flowers, white dress, you know, colorful dress, and with colors on the face, you know, painting their face eventually. They were beautiful.
I was born into a family that was 5 generations San Franciscan. In the '65, I was like 14 years old, and I just I'd already been listening to music for a long time because I grew up on Elvis Presley and Big Bopper and then all kind of like Motown and whatever. And there were certain groups on the underground that I started to like, and that kind of like went along with what was just starting to happen in the hate. So I started to hang out there when there was just like 30 people sitting on the sidewalk out in front of the psychedelic shop and stuff. By the time the whole Haight-Ashbury fell in summer of '69 and the magic was lost, and then many people from all over the world started to head to India, then coming and mixing with all this spiritual thing in India and this and that, then the way forward was quite clear, more clear. It's been like one evolution, you know, just going on and on and on. For me anyway, it's never stopped, you know.
And those people growing up at that time, seeing that This is a cliche, I suppose, but the materialism of American culture didn't provide spirit, right? The youth of America in the 60s, who were then in their 20s, had everything. And it wasn't enough because everything was all things, and there wasn't spirit, and mystery, and creativity, and magic.
At the beginning, when we first came here, there was nothing. I mean, there was no one motorbike, no one car, no electricity. The dirt road all the way to Mopsa, 2 buses a day, one in the morning coming and going, and then one in the evening coming and going. And there was not all these taxis, this, that, whatever then. You know, you had to walk everywhere.
And I headed down Anjuna looking for a house. There would be people washing themselves by the well. And they would be there naked with soap, shampooing, and I would go by and they'd just say hi. And they'd smile at me, and then I'd pass another house and there'd be people on the hammock and they'd say hi. Nobody looked away as if I didn't exist. In New York, you know, people are anonymous. You don't look anybody in the eye because you're invading their space. And here, everybody I met saw me. They saw me. I was a person. I was a friend. They smiled at me. They welcomed me. I belonged here. There was no question.
Now, you know, at those days, the people, you know, they were very simple, so it was really nice. They lived mostly on coconuts, fish from the sea, milk from the cow, rice from the field, and more real natural level.
You know, in the old days in Anjuna or Baga, it was just a few houses. And to stay, you had to build your own hut, you know. And 1 or 2 persons generally were going to Mapsa to buy food, and to provide food for everybody. We were 10, 20 living together. And everybody was sharing. It was really a lot of good sharing. It was nice. And many guys were arriving, just building nothing, choosing a coconut and waiting. They were sleeping there. They were making love there, and they were playing flute there, and they were cooking there, you know.
And they were a family. They knew each other, they would wave, they were in the water, they came out of the water. They all sort of sat together on the south end of Anjuna Beach. It was a family that I didn't know that I was missing. Stoned and lie there and hang out and smoke marijuana, take LSD, and just have fun. It was pure pleasure.
It was parties in Arambol. They went for 15 days. For 15 days, it was parties going on, you know, every day, night and day. It was always food and chai and dates and so on. It was all guitars, flute, singing, dancing and that. With nothing, we were really enjoying very much, and we were enjoying the same current of energy.
So hippies, now slowly they have stopped coming, maybe because earlier they could sort of sleep nude and this. We have gone against nudism. We are also strict. What I have seen, these people used to come with practically no money. They used to come with something and sell here. I have seen people or heard people thriving only on maybe a few coffees. They used to have 1 or 2 rupees. We don't want poor people. We want rich people to come and enjoy here. We have enough poverty. We don't want people to add to our poverty here. So we want tourists who can enjoy, who can spend money, because after all the whole system also depends on money. See, we are thinking of tourism in terms of tourism to generate money, not somebody who comes and lives at our cost. So hippies, whatever you call it, I don't know what was their culture, because maybe it was a misconception. But somehow I have seen one thing, I tell you, whatever their culture is, that they were not spending money. So we want people who can spend, who live a good life.
I don't know what the future brings, but I know what I don't want. And New York is what I don't want. That culture is what I don't want. It's not right. I don't know what is right. I don't think our old life was right. I don't see a new culture that is right. But we have to continue trying. That's the best we can do. That's the best any of us can do, is to keep trying to make something that is peaceful for everybody, that makes people happy, that is fair to everybody. And that's all I want.
Remains those bushes, those birds, this sky, this sea. And from the hippie scene itself remains a lot of hope.
There's a connection also between psychedelic drugs and yoga, believe it or not. And that many of the people who were taking psychedelic drugs in the early 60s were doing it with a sense of exploration, of exploring the consciousness of the mind, the hidden parts of the mind, the unconscious, the subconscious. Now, at a certain point, it began to ask, where is reality? What's real, you know? And just, I take this little pill, and all of a sudden I see something completely different when I'm looking at this table. And so what level of consciousness is this? And then it turns out that there are disciplines that have been practiced for thousands of years, not just in India, but primarily in India, that also enable you to get to other states of consciousness.
I didn't smoke nothing or take nothing or whatever for many, you know, and I was completely just in yoga sadhana, kriyas, asana, pranayama, you know, meditating many times in the day for a long time and all this, like living in jungle in there. And I came here, I would just pick up the guitar automatically, the Kundalini Shakti just opened up, and this thing came through me and these songs. I'm just trying to use the party situation to pass on these things which I've learned. I see myself as a link with the yogis of the Himalaya, and I'm stationed like, here is my station in Goa. And that was the time when I really understood like how high you can really take people with music. You can give them a spiritual experience with music. You know, you can take them really to divine places like and uplift their consciousness and open them up and then give them a transfer of this power. I always said Goa party is not just a disco under the coconut trees. It's an initiation. That's why we created our own sound and our own vibe and our own kind of party, which now is spread all over the world because people think it's hip. Dance is active meditation. When we dance, we go beyond thought, beyond mind, and beyond our own individuality to become one in the divine ecstasy of union with the cosmic spirit. This is the essence of the trance dance experience.
Go is a state of mind, actually. Go is not a place. And you take Goa with you when you leave. Well, I was at the Love Parade last year, and I had a great time. It was wonderful people. Everybody was happy, young, out in the sunshine and so on. And I had a little memory vision in a sense that in 1939, people would have been marching around Sega soil at that time also, but everyone would have been in uniform and everyone would have been carrying guns and being taught to hate the next door neighbor. And now in Love Parade 60 years later, people are walking around, they're not in uniform, everybody's having a great time in the sunshine, they're dancing to great music, and the word is love. And so I think that's a big change. Where it goes from here, it's up to us to take it even higher.
Wow, look at that. Messe Berlin.
That's the convention center.
Right. Funny architecture, huh?
Yeah.
Very stark. Very austere.
Was that from Hitler time, that old building there?
Yeah.
That's the Hitler
Looks
architecture,
like,
like the Tempodrome. It's
right.
The same, or Tempelhof. Tempelhof is the same
right.
style of architecture. But the new one is the stainless steel one here.
All the futuristic architecture now is quite, some of it's really cool. It should be another color.
Let's paint it orange.
See, here's an example of this glass and steel
Yeah,
kind of stuff. It looks kind of funny sometimes.
Some of them are okay, yeah. But it has no character that's native to the place. It's just everybody has the same kind of
Right.
building, whether it's Germany or England or...
Well, that's the way it's going, no? As we move towards...
international.
As we move towards, what is it, Star Trek consciousness? You know, one world federation or whatever, no?
Oh, one world government.
Isn't it kind of going towards that?
I suppose. As a hippie, you sort of, we said tune in, turn on, and drop out. That means get out of the mainstream of culture and pursue your own creative instincts, your own creative urges. And it was also separating yourself from all things that had shaped you previously and to create a new self. And so also as a sadhu, you separate yourself from the things that shaped you previously and you create a new self on a higher plane, on a higher vibration. And hippies also were trying to get into a spiritual vibration in many ways.
You can be in the world and use the things of the world, but you should not be attached to those things, that's all. It's just using them as tools. Also the ego and the senses. The ego is the cement that holds the five
elements in the whole creation together. Without ego, cosmic ego, there would be no creation at all. All of these things are tools for the soul to come into this world and experience the things of the world and find fulfillment and completion. And we should see them as tools. Emotions also. If we don't attach to it, we can use it just as a tool. If we attach to it, it overtakes our mind and drives us crazy, and we lose control and we don't know what we're doing anymore. It's all how you look at it. That's the tricky thing, but that's the secret.
All right.
When we were children, we used to sing this song, and now now the words seem so full of wisdom to me. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
I like that. But it has no character that's native to the place. It's just everybody has the same kind of building, whether it's Germany or England or...
Well, that's the way it's going, no? As we move towards...
international.
As we move towards, what is it, Star Trek consciousness? You know, one world federation or whatever, no?
Oh, one world government.
Isn't it kind of going towards that?
I suppose. Gently down the stream,
row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
Merrily, 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 merrily,
life is but a dream.